Since the phrase was first spoken by Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Forbidden Door has been a mystery to professional wrestling that has slowly opened over the past 3 years. AEW has talked a lot about welcoming stars from other promotions, but I think that Impact Wrestling could be the key to the Forbidden Door. Total Nonstop Action was founded in 2002 by Jerry and Jeff Jarrett as a promotion under the NWA banner, which lent itself to a nice working relationship with the National Wrestling Alliance that lasted all the way until 2007. The early years of TNA also saw a talent sharing agreement with Ring of Honor until 2004, and most notably a working relationship with New Japan from 2008 to 2011. So what happened? Without going into too much detail, the agreement with ROH came to an end due to legal controversy, not counting the time they were both on Destination America, because we don't talk about that. And the relationship with New Japan, well, the bad blood between these two companies reached a boiling point in September 2019 when Anthem, who bought Impact 2 years prior, purchased a majority stake in Access Television. This was quickly followed by the news that the promotion's self-titled show would move to the network, which previously aired a weekly series featuring New Japan along with several specials like the first ever G1 special in 2017. This caused such an issue for New Japan that they stopped airing their programs on the network, with heavy speculation that they refused to enter a new working relationship with Impact Wrestling. In some ways, you could say the breakup between Impact and New Japan is what created the Forbidden Door in the first place. TNA and later Impact would of course pursue other partnerships over the years. These included Japan's Wrestle One, Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling, and AAA in Mexico. Highlights of these partnerships included TNA co-promoting their Bound for Glory pay-per-view in 2014 with Wrestle One, Impact and Global Force merging for a few months in 2017, going so far as to unify titles and combine branding assets, a number of AAA talent making their way to Impact in a partnership that is still ongoing, and Impact vs. Lucha Underground, a special event held in the days leading up to WrestleMania 34. Clearly, Impact made great efforts to work with other wrestling promotions, both stateside and international, but you could always tell there was something missing. With past partnerships not quite unlocking the door, it seems one would open a new world of possibilities. Enter AEW. The end of 2020 saw this partnership blossom when Kenny Omega defeated Jon Moxley to become the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And as he and Don Callis rushed out of the building, Callis declared that we would find out all about it on Impact Wrestling the following Tuesday. And with that, the speculation ran rampant. At that point, there was a lot of discussion amongst fans, ourselves included, about what this meant for Impact and AEW going forward. And what we got was Kenny Omega appearing on Impact, proclaiming himself the Belt Collector, and gunning for the Impact World Championship. In the weeks that followed, we saw the door between these companies creak open, with the Good Brothers arriving in AEW to assist their old pals in Omega and the Young Bucks, and some curious paid advertisements on Impact from Tony Khan. But the real focus of this partnership was Kenny Omega's hunt for all the gold he could carry. This would eventually come to fruition at the Impact pay-per-view special Rebellion, where Omega defeated Rich Swann for the title and added it alongside the AEW and AAA world titles. Consider for a moment that Rich Swann had just defeated Moose at Sacrifice to unify the Impact and TNA World Heavyweight Championships. And yes, TNA title was part of Omega's collection. The era of the belt collector seemingly came to an end at the premiere of AEW Rampage, when Christian Cage defeated Omega to win the Impact World Championship, a nice nod to his days at the top of the TNA mountain in 2005. The door between these companies has seemingly closed, with Christian losing the title to Josh Alexander and a lot less interaction between AEW and Impact. But where one door closes, another swings wide open. Enter New Japan. Again. At the end of Impact's Slammiversary 2021, we saw the arrival of New Japan's Jay White, leader of the Bullet Club. I think. The hierarchy is a little confusing these days. Still, this is the same faction that once featured Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, among many others. Around this time, we also saw the arrival of Finjuice, indicating that time had seemingly healed most wounds between Impact and New Japan, the latter of whom had some extent of talent arrangements sending wrestlers to AEW, even going so far as to have Kenta arrive in the midst of his New Japan feud with Moxley for the IWGP United States Championship, later even having that title defended for the first time on AEW Dynamite. These working relationships would get all the more interesting as 2021 progressed, with talent from a few companies working at Impact's Bound for Glory pay-per-view in October. Another partnership was renewed in late 2021, sparked by the announcement of Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham defending his title against Chris Sabin in a Pure Rules match at Hard to Kill. At this event, Gresham retained in a stellar match, but he wouldn't be the only Ring of Honor talent to show up that night. After a brutal hardcore war came to an end, a small group of Ring of Honor wrestlers appeared to make a statement. This group would later be known as Honor No More, and seemed to be the core of bringing the Impact Ring of Honor relationship full circle. Speaking of coming full circle, remember what I said about New Japan leaving Access Television in 2019 after Impact was announced as premiering on the network? During Wrestle Kingdom 16, it was announced that New Japan was returning to Access in March with new episodes. With the door between Impact and other promotions completely open, the possibilities have become just about limitless for dream matches that were absolutely unheard of even a couple years ago. Even with Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor, it's become clear that Impact remains the heart and soul of building those much needed bridges between wrestling promotions around the world. So to Impact Wrestling, I say thank you. Thank you for being the key to the Forbidden Door.